Hey, welcome to an all-special Revue de Bourbon Halloween edition. Yeah.
All right, then.
Ooh.
Man, that's scary shit right there.
Boo.
Whoa.
Hey.
Ha.
Look out. Yeah, it's that time of year. The leaves are falling. The spooks are coming out. Jack-o'-lanterns are laughing. Kids are trick-or-treating. It's my favorite time of the year, actually. How about you, Wayne?
Halloween or just this time of year?
Fall.
Yeah.
Favorite season?
I like the winter.
It's nice, though, because you get that in-between temperature, and it's just kind of a fun... I love horror movies, too, so...
Yeah.
And they're all over TV. It's just a fun time of year. We're going to kind of just give a quick shout-out to Halloween, right?
Yeah. You know, talking about horror movies, I usually watch... for some reason, you got to watch the Blair Witch Project.
All right. I can't watch it because I can't watch the single camera, single person like running around thing because the shakiness makes me nauseous.
Huh.
Any of those movies, there's a lot of those movies out right now.
Yeah.
Where it's just like someone carrying a camera around. I can't watch it.
That one was one of the very first to do that.
Yeah.
There were some before that, but they weren't very well known.
Oh, yeah. It blew up after that. I actually went to go see that in the theater, and I walked out, got sick in the restroom. I thought I'd just eaten something terrible, and I came back, and it, like, flared up again. I realized I can't watch this.
Man, that's horrible. That's a good movie,
I
too.
know. So I just stared at the floor and listened, which turns out that works okay. I mean, if you're going to just listen to a movie, Blair Witch is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're just going to talk a little about Halloween. Wayne, how did Halloween get started?
Yeah, and it was originally called, Samhain or Samhain. It started in early Gaelic Ireland, most likely. And it was their festival that they had in the fall where, it started on the 31st and ended on the 1st of November. And it was where they thought that the doorways to other, I guess they call it the other world, was opened, allowing, spirits and their dead and their ancestors to come back into our world. And it was basically a festival for the dead, pretty much.
Right.
And then it was also basically a big party, too.
Kind of the celebration of harvest and probably big feasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure, because that time of year, they would have been done with harvesting everything and kind of have everything stored up for winter, and just a good time to celebrate.
Yeah, it's a very interesting holiday. Some people don't celebrate it, because it's, I don't know. Let's just have fun with it. Who really cares about the religious context and all that stuff?
It's such a weird holiday just because of how much of a mix of pagan and Christian things there are thrown into it.
But I love it. I absolutely love it. And, you might be asking yourself, well, why are Dusty and Wayne talking about Halloween? Well, I think fall is the best time to drink bourbon.
I think so.
Halloween parties, if you're having a Halloween party, it's the best spirit to make a cocktail with. It has all those savory spices that go well with it: cinnamon, nutmeg, whatever.
Apple flavors.
Well, yeah, apples, stuff like that.
Cinnamon.
Pumpkin pies, it goes great with that. I think last year around this time we did a bourbon pumpkin pie, didn't we?
Yeah, and that was really good.
Yeah, that was great. So it's a really good time for bourbon, and it's a good time because a lot of great bourbons are getting released around this time.
Yeah.
I saw somewhere on Twitter, someone's charting where Pappy Van Winkle is getting released, like, day by day, which is kind of ridiculous. It's not like you can get it.
Right.
No one's actually putting it on the shelf. Yeah, it's just a good time for bourbon and a good time for fun. Halloween is my favorite time to party. How much funner is it to party when you're dressed up as someone else? It just makes everything better. But I've got a few fun facts here about Halloween. thought I'd throw in. Jack-o'-lanterns originated in Ireland, where people placed candles and hollowed out turnips to keep away the spirits and ghosts on the Samhain holiday. Those had to be big fucking turnips, first of all.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Tootsie Rolls were the first wrapped penny candy in America.
About that.
Which happens to be probably the most famous, most popular trick-or-treat candy item, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite candies, too.
Yeah, but I always got kind of pissed off when I got those from people trick-or-treating.
Why?
I wanted, like, the Reese Cups or, the full bags of M&Ms. I was always going for the big scores. Twizzlers, stuff like that.
You always wanted the Twizzlers or, like, gummy bears or something.
Or even the mini Reese Cups.
Remember those little white candy sticks?
Candy cigarettes?
There's, like, a little pack of, like, 2 of them.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do. Yeah. Where did those go?
I don't know. Those are good.
And while I'm thinking about it, candy corn is terrible.
Candy corn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
People always... I kind of like it, but it seems like most people just kind of buy it because it's what you're supposed to do.
I know. I mean, if it's round, I might pop a few in my mouth if it's in a mixture with nuts. But, just on its own. I actually had a Hershey's candy corn bar, one of the mini trick-or-treat ones. Tastes like shit.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. Just tastes like wax. I don't know. Let's see here. What else we got? Halloween candy sales average about $2 billion annually in the United States.
No way.
Yeah, believe that.
Wow.
Halloween is the second most commercially successful holiday. What's the first?
Christmas?
Correct. If we were doing a quick draw, you'd be doing pretty well.
Would be.
Black cats were once believed to be witches, familiars. What? Okay. I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does.
Bobbing for apples is thought to have originated from the Roman harvest festival that honors Pomona, the goddess of fruit trees. That's kind of fun. I've never bobbed for apples myself.
Not either. I don't think I ever will.
You don't want to check that off your life list?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Bobbing for apples is not on it.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. There's some fun facts. And we've got a kind of a special episode of Revue de Bourbon that we've got lined up for you. We've already done it, and we've been just kind of holding on to it for you. We're actually going to cheers with one of the bourbons we used in the episode. It's a Four Roses single barrel. So, in honor of Halloween, Wayne, here's a cheers.
Yep, happy Halloween.
All right. So, without further ado, on behalf of Dusty Pockets and
Wayne Smitherton,
this is our Halloween review, Four Roses. Enjoy, everyone.
y'all take care, have fun trick-or-treating, and don't catch the Ebola.
Boo! Hello, and welcome to Revue de Bourbon, podcast dealing with all things bourbon. I'm your co-host, Dusty, and along with my co-host, Wayne, we're just a couple of guys who love to talk about bourbon. So whether you're at home, at work, or just in your car, sit back, relax, kick your feet up, pour yourself a drink, enjoy the show.
Test.
Teast. Teast 1, 2. Teast. Yeah. Chugga, 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 chugga.
That sounds like the bourbon train, I suppose.
Yeah. That is the Revue de Bourbon train.
Ooh.
The RDB train. Rolling into a town near you through the pod waves. Not even near you. We're in your town right now as you're listening.
You don't know it. We may even be in your house.
Yeah. Don't check the basement. Better check the basement.
Is it safe?
Well, we're in my basement right now. at this moment. So that's where the RDB train is docked up at the moment. But podcasts aren't live, so you never know where we are. All right. I'm pretty excited about today's episode. Really excited, actually. Wayne and I are staring at a trio of arguably the one of the best line of bourbons in the market. Yes?
Yep. Like how there's basketball teams that have like just a great starting five, and that's what they're known for. Well, that lineup translated into bourbon is Four Roses.
Yeah. Well put. These are just, I would say everyone should just buy this for their bar.
Right.
So tell them what we got here.
We've got Four Roses Yellow Label, which is the basic Four Roses. We've got Four Roses Small Batch, and we've got Four Roses Single Barrel.
These can all be found in your store. That's one of the best things about it. They're all affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we've got an 80 proof, a 90 proof, and a 100 proof.
Mm-hmm. And I think Four Roses makes the best 80 proof bourbon that there is.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before. I haven't had much of the Yellow Label. Before the show, not only did we have a cocktail that we'll be featuring later, but we had a blind taste test of these three. I liked all of them.
Yeah. And, we're going from one's 80 proof, one's 90 proof, and one's 100. But, by doing a blind taste test, it's hopefully a lot more objective than it would have been otherwise. For me, in the blind test, there were no disappointments. And the recipes are different, too.
Right. We'll get into this a little later, but Four Roses is one of the few distilleries to use different yeasts and combinations of yeasts. We were talking earlier, Heaven Hill uses one yeast for everything, just flat out.
Yeah, and that's why you notice in theirs, even though they're all different, they all share some of the same flavors.
Yes, there will be a common bond there.
And you find people that just do not like Heaven Hill bourbons, which I don't get because they have bad ones and good ones. But
I'm surprised that a lot more distilleries don't do different yeast mixtures or whatever with each of their bourbons, because it is a common thread. And like with Heaven Hill, whether this guy actually doesn't like all of them or not, he thinks he doesn't because he knows he doesn't like some of them, and he probably attributes it to them using the same yeast.
Yeah.
And so he just doesn't drink Heaven Hill.
And then, there's some brands that need to use the same yeast, like Wild Turkey. They're shooting for consistency.
Exactly. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, because they don't have many brands compared to the other distilleries. I mean, you look at how many brands Jim Beam has versus how many brands Wild Turkey has. Just a handful compared to a dozen.
All right, let's go over this. I want to know, let's see. Well, we're just going to, we took notes and we also ranked them. So here we go. I'm going to grab the secret results out of my back pocket. Ready? Drum roll.
You are not the father.
Number one. Yes. Is Yellow Label. What did you rank Yellow Label, and tell us what you thought?
Ranked it as number 3. I thought it was a great bourbon, sweet and kind of flowery on the nose, and then kind of fruity with a kind of spicy finish. Spicy like you ever had wassail around Christmas time?
Never heard of it. Wassail?
Anyway, it's just that sweet spice that you get kind of.
Did you say wassail?
Wassail.
I'll check it out.
Right.
I said
almost a pear flavor.
Okay. Gotcha. I said kind of had a typical bourbon smell.
Mm.
Nothing special. It tasted a bit weak to me, so that would make sense. And I got kind of a bark, kind of mossy bark.
Yeah.
That's what I got. I had that 3 as well.
That's I know what you're trying to describe there. That's one of my favorite flavors in bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like some of the cheaper bourbons. They have that.
I like this a lot. Yeah. No doubt I like this, but it was third for us.
Whatever that flavor is what makes some of the 15 and under bourbons my favorite.
I wonder what that is.
I don't know, but it's good.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. This is going to tell the tale here. Number 2 was the single barrel. All right. How did you rank that?
Number 1.
I did too. To me, it was pretty obvious.
Almost without tasting.
It was obvious before I tasted the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of got a little confused. On initial smell, I could just smell the quality. Could you not?
Yeah, you could tell it was. It had a lot more character.
It smells of fine bourbon,
Mm-hmm.
fine, well-crafted, fine with a capital F, maybe all caps.
Yeah,
it smells fine. It smells like a premium bourbon that probably costs $70 on a bottle.
Yeah, you get the smell of sugar as it caramelizes.
I put it
you
down
get that
maple.
smell. Maple?
Right?
Yeah.
It's the best of both worlds because you get the flavor and the kick.
Mm-hmm.
It has it all. It is a very well-rounded bourbon. And tell us a little bit. This came from your personal collection, correct?
Yeah, this is a bottle of the single barrel that I've hung on to for a while, not because it's easy to find. You're not going to buy it every week, but it's affordable. I almost always have it around.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had this one around for between 2 and 3 years.
Yeah.
I've had other bottles, too.
Wow. All right. Now, what do you have for notes on the small batch?
It smelled kind of like a dry leaf smell on the nose, kind of, with some kind of underlying sweetness. And then for tasting, I mean, you just pick up a lot of, it's one of the more prominent vanilla, I mean, of any bourbon that you taste.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just got a real, I mean, kind of like the yellow label, just a really sweet, spicy flavor to it, too.
Yeah, that's dead on. Vanilla is big in this one.
Huge.
It's whatever, when people ask me, what should I get as a gift bourbon-wise for someone,
Mm-hmm.
I always go to this one because it's very friendly.
If I had to pick out the first bourbon anyone had ever had, I would buy them this one.
It's smooth. It's kind of candy-like.
Mm-hmm. It is. Especially, we didn't do this time, but you throw a cube of ice or splash of water in it, it opens up a lot more of the sweet flavors that are in it.
You know anything about Four Roses?
Well, funny you should ask.
Yeah.
On the yellow label, we have some information about the legend of Four Roses. Paul Jones Jr. was the founder of Four Roses Bourbon. He was obsessed or infatuated, or whatever you want to call that, with a young Southern belle.
Oh, I think that's an infatuation.
I believe so. Smitten.
Ah.
He sent her a proposal. I think this was back before, you hung out at the movies and
Right.
back of a car or bench seat on a truck. This was back in the courting days.
Ooh.
And she replied that if her answer were yes to this formal event they were going to, that she would wear a corsage with 4 roses on it.
Oh, excuse me.
And, obviously, due to the name of the bourbon, she did. So, the symbol of 4 roses was very important to Paul Jones Jr. Maybe related distantly to John Paul Jones. We can't say that he wasn't.
Yeah, we can't.
We haven't done that research.
Yeah.
But anyway, he named his bourbon 4 Roses because of the symbolism behind that very important event to him. And, Well, there you go.
Because of a lady.
Because of a lady.
There you go.
Why do we do anything?
No kidding. How many things have been done because of a lady?
Most.
Yeah.
But Four Roses has 10 recipes of bourbon. There is 1 recipe in the single barrel, 4 in the small batch, and 10 in the yellow. And it's based on 2 mash bills and then 5 different yeast strains, which make 10 different individual whiskeys that they combine to make 3 different bourbons.
Yeah, that's a big feature to Four Roses that sets them apart from everyone else in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, fantastic. Everything is a great value. I would say I'm just going to rate this collection of bourbons at a 4.5. Great value. Looks great in your bar. All these bottles are different. By the way, if you want to take a look at these bottles, go to reviewedbourbon.com. That's REVUEDE bourbon.com. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, we'd love to have you on board. That's also at Revue de Bourbon. If you want to follow us on Twitter, ask us some questions. We would love to entertain that. That's also at Revue de Bourbon. In fact, I got a great Twitter question from someone the other day. Yeah, Randolph Settles on Twitter wanted to know what the deal was with brandy. He compared it to sitting down to watch the Bears versus Packers as bourbon, and brandy was watching the Bucks and the Panthers instead. Thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it as 2 different sports that kind of have the same principles.
Which sport is bourbon?
Well, if you want to make it football, well, I don't know what sport bourbon is.
I think it's dueling.
Like fencing?
No, like pistol dueling.
Oh, wow. Like stepping off. Didn't the guy that turned around early just always win?
Not necessarily. It's very easy to miss even at that close of a distance with the kind of pistols they'd have dueled with.
Yeah, because you're shooting from the hip. You know about that.
You're shooting fast, and you're scared because you might die.
Right.
That always makes people scared.
Oh, my God. I would have, before the duel, I would just pull the gun out and kill myself. Because
I wouldn't do that. You got a sporting chance the other way.
No. Fuck that, man.
No?
No, you know what? I'd probably get shot in the gut and then die of gangrene over the next 2 months.
Well, see, the best dueling strategy would be to quickly turn sideways while slowly aiming.
What does that mean?
Once you'd reached the end,
Uh-huh.
instead of just, turning around broad-shouldered facing the guy, you'd narrow yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
your one shoulder and the gun is
don't
facing
even take the
guy.
time to face him.
Well, no, you're not going to. You don't need to. You make yourself small,
right?
And then you take your time. Hey, hell, let him shoot. I mean, whatever.
That's pretty good. You've thought about that.
Huh. Must have been a boring history class back in high school. Talking about Aaron Burr.
Was that the deal back then? Was it like the sheriff was like, well, he won the duel?
I don't know that it was on paper, but yeah, I mean...
Just kind of spoken.
Yeah.
Everything's fine now.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody go back to your business.
Quit feuding. It's over.
Yeah, everybody back in your homes, please. Ma'am, can you get back off your porch there? Excuse me.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheriff. Ma'am, put your shotgun away, God damn it. Did they say God damn it back then? Well, so that was the blind taste test. It turned out very well, but kind of what we thought, right? Exactly what we thought. Well, no, not for me.
What I thought, but yeah, I still kind of surprised. Usually what you think and what actually happens with these blind taste tests are different. But this one, I guess because I've drank a lot of all 3 of these for a long time and kind of know what's what.
They're damn good.
Yep.
We recommend them all. Go ahead and put it in your bar. Stock up.
According to me, the best 80 proof bourbon is Four Roses Yellow Label.
Agreed. Does not taste like one.
That may be the only definitive thing about bourbon I've ever said on this show.
Wow. I'll go ahead and mark that down.
Well, let's celebrate and have some Four Roses.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's have a quick celebration here. I'm going to grab the small batch, if you don't mind.
Here, have you some single barrel.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Well, we had a cocktail before the show. Wayne and I
Kentucky
were
Colonel.
Well, I think it's pronounced the Kentucky Colonel.
Then why doesn't it say Kernel?
I think I misspelled it. Don't pay attention to that. Yeah, excuse that spelling. But the Kentucky Colonel. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what's a Kentucky Colonel? I've never heard of that. Well, that's because it's not that popular of a drink. But I made a small amendment to it. It's supposed to use a certain sort of herbal liqueur. I can't remember the name, but I replaced it with another herbal liqueur, which there's a lot of those out now that you can find.
Made out of herbs.
Herbs and roots.
I bet Campari'd be good for this one.
It would. I used Aperol tonight. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's got a apricot flavor. It's kind of, self-explanatory.
Made the drink really kind of refreshing.
So the recipe is 2 parts bourbon, 2 ounces bourbon, ½ ounce herbal liqueur, which in this case was Aperol, and a squeeze of a lemon wedge, just to kind of give you that bite. And stir with ice, and there you go. Very simple 3-ingredient cocktail called the Kentucky Colonel. I thought it was, quite refreshing. You could taste the bourbon. You could kind of taste everything.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I like simple cocktails.
Yeah.
I like complex ones too, but at home I like to make something simple. Overall, what would you give that? Would you make it again?
Yeah, I'd make it again.
Yeah.
And I would experiment with different herbal liqueurs to see. Because, it's really a very simple drink,
Mm-hmm.
And that's, as a cocktail should be.
Are you familiar with the actor Samuel L. Jackson?
Snakes on a Plane.
Holy shit, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I saw that in the theater.
He has such a broad spectrum of really shitty and really good movies. But he's good in all of them.
Consistent.
He brings more to the film in whichever one it is.
And he's really good at cursing.
Yeah.
Sounds great cursing. This Quickdraw is all about Samuel L. Jackson movies. Oh, yeah. Snap it to a Slim Jim.
Chow!
Oh, yeah.
Quickdraw.
All right. Let me get in position here. All right. Yeah, I got to get adjusted. Now, for those of you not familiar with Quickdraw is a game where I, Dusty, ask Wayne the questions in a matter of 60 seconds. Time starts after I finish the first question. There is a theme, and there may or may not be bourbon involved with these questions.
And they may or may not be questions.
That's correct. Okay.
On your mark. 10, 9,
3.
go. Chow! Quickdraw.
Name one of 2 movies Samuel L. Jackson stars in with snake in the title.
Black Snake Moan.
Correct. Finish this line that Samuel L. Jackson says as things turn bad. Hold on to your...
Butts.
Correct.
I thought it was hang on to your butts.
It could be.
Samuel
L. Jackson is in 5 Quentin Tarantino movies. Name 2.
Pulp Fiction.
Correct.
Django.
Correct. True or false? Samuel L. Jackson likes to curse.
False.
Incorrect. All right. Wow. That was something else, man. Very successful episode of RDB, I gotta say.
Yep.
This was fun. We've been talking about doing this for a while. So we did our taste test of the 3 main Four Roses.
And I feel like we owe Four Roses an apology. We made it 20 episodes without doing one of their bourbons.
Right. That's kind of why we did this, so we could get all these in, because they all deserve their own.
And I'd say they'll be revisited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We moved on to a cocktail called the Kentucky Colonel. Very nice, simple cocktail with bourbon, an herbal liqueur, and a squeeze of lemon. Very simple cocktail you can make at home.
Or in your car.
Yeah. Or at work, if you're one of those. And Wayne gave a stellar performance in Quickdraw with Samuel L. Jackson as our theme. Kind of killed it.
Kind of did.
So, anything you want to say before we sign out here?
Pay attention on the road.
Yes. All right. Thanks for that, Wayne. As always, this has been Revue de Bourbon. I am your co-host, Dusty.
And I'm your co-host, Wayne Roston.
Thanks, Wayne, as always. And we look forward to seeing all of you again on the pod waves. Goodbye.
Y'all have good. Ask a 12-year-old who Rick Moranis is. And who was in Angels in the Outfield. And Danny Glover.
Wayne has left the building.
Did you learn about that in a Playboy magazine?